This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion is advised.
And here we go.
Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your rights, your liberties, and all the bullshit in between. You're listening to Break the Bell Podcast.
It's Monday night. You know what that means. Welcome to the Break the Bell Podcast.
Hello, beautiful bell breakers.
I almost choked on my own
I noticed
saliva. I got too excited. I was like,
Yeah, it's like,
here we are.
Here we are. We're here.
Then I choke and
Yes.
die on live stream. That would be awesome. That would be epic.
That would probably be our most popular show
I was
ever.
going to say, that would be the one that makes us go viral. Finally
Yes.
go viral
Yeah.
is when I choke and die on my
We
saliva
thought
on
it
a
was
live
going to be
stream.
when I fell asleep during a
Oh,
broadcast.
that went pretty viral. That
Yeah.
one made some waves. That was earlier on. That was in our other
Yes.
room.
When it was 90 degrees and we were filming at 1 a.m.
Yep, and we're like, just listening to me drone on, and you're like, I think you literally drooled on the microphone.
I think
I'm
I
like,
snored
"Hey,
a little bit."
over here, and I'm just like, it's gonna stay. That was just a brief glimpse into our live streams, because on our live streams, obviously we don't cut out
Yes.
the errors, even if it's me choking on my saliva and dying on live stream.
Well, and that's why we film earlier, so I don't fall asleep.
That's true too, and we're down this cooler basement.
Yes.
So, how's everybody doing out there? It's Monday night. It's another live episode. If you're listening to this in podcast land or watching in the future on YouTube, you can come hang out with us live Monday nights, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will do the math for you. That is 8 p.m. Eastern. That is 6 p.m. Rocky Mountain Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Mountain Time. I don't know the islands in like
No,
Alaska
no,
and shit
okay.
or other
China.
country. That's as far as it goes. So
Okay.
you're gonna have to do the rest of the math yourself. But we are live. We are doing this thing every Monday night. So join us. Join the fun. Join the comment section. We get a couple people that are regulars that like to shoot the shit with us,
Yeah.
and we enjoy shooting the shit
do.
right back with you. So just know that we probably will make fun of you, because that's kind of our thing.
But you
that's
can
our
make fun of us. We
yeah,
don't mind.
you can, yeah, and we'll just block you because
can do
it's
that.
our show, and we can. I have that ability now. As long as you're not a total dickhead, we allow all sorts of people to indulge, I guess.
Converse.
Yes, so do that next time. If you're not here for the live show, be here for the live show, because the cool people show up for the live show.
Always.
And the rest of you are just kind of cool, not nearly as cool. Tonight, this week, some specifically like over the weekend, some interesting things developed, went on. We talked a little bit, not a ton, but we talked some about the Pentagon leak last week, and
Yes.
how that could really affect our ties with some of our close allies, and it pointed out some of the maybe misdirection of the Ukraine war statistics that they're feeding us. But those were the blatant lies, obviously. That's how we
Obviously,
know
yeah.
it was fabricated, because they gave wrong information.
Yeah, they
about
made
the-
Russia look way too good.
Yeah, and it was on a black background.
Yeah,
Don't forget. We can't
That's
forget
right,
that.
the black background.
Speaking
Russia.
of assholes who joined the comments, Joseph Rath is here. He says, "I'm finally here for our live show." Joseph, you haven't been around in probably over a year.
It's been forever.
a while.
It's been.
Welcome back to the show, Joseph. It's good to have you here. I'm glad you finally decided this was important enough to spend a little bit of time this evening. I've known Joseph for a very, very long time, so it's good to have you on, Joseph. We need to catch up for sure. I yelled at Joseph once. He might not remember that, but I did yell at Joseph once.
On the show or
No,
personal?
in person.
Oh,
in
okay.
person. So
That's why we haven't heard from him.
go. Yeah, probably. Joseph's like, that guy's an asshole. Maybe he's coming on to troll us. Just past life, okay? Military past life. Joseph says, "Oh, I remember. Good. I made an impression. Made an impression on you." So I started to say last week we did bring up Ukraine in the Pentagon papers and how this may or may not affect things that are going on. Well, apparently this week they caught the bad guy. They caught the bad dude. Speaking of military, it was a military intel guy. Yeah. He was like basically the equivalent of IT in the military, and he was the one spreading this these secret files on Discord. Supposedly to gain clout with his online buddies. That's the narrative.
Yeah.
Does that sound realistic to you?
Just post pictures of their new boat. You know, it's like
or a hot chick. Well, IT guys don't really have hot chicks.
Say, I don't know what that is.
But anything. I mean, what kind of group is he hanging out with? Where it's just like, look, I've got top secret files. And they're like, ooh, this guy is a gangster.
I know. Got to hang out with him.
Serious fucking gangster. So we're gonna talk about that. We're going to talk about, I want to just kind of go back and forth because I don't buy it. I really don't buy it.
No.
It's just too convenient of a package.
Yeah.
Especially the type of person he is. He's a white Christian nationalist who spreads racism on Discord. Would go figure, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's just too convenient of a package. And they just happen to find him because they're them, I guess.
Right. They were that concerned.
So we'll get into that and maybe discuss like our thoughts on what actually, like, I still don't know, but we can talk about it. Yeah. But I don't think this is real. This is made up. I think it's a cover-up for something.
And we even talked about that. We were like, how is this possible?
Well, and we'll get into all this because some GOP people are coming out, like Trump supporters, and are like, this guy's a hero. He's a whistleblower. And based on what they're saying, whistleblower status, not so much.
Not quite.
He's exposing what's really going on in Ukraine. No, not so much. I think part of me thinks this is a cover-up for what's really going on in Ukraine. So I want to get into all that stuff. And it's stuff that's just happening like literally right under our noses. And it's just like blatantly out there. And like, but look at this guy. He was leaking documents. Like, oh, look over there. So there's something out there that they're covering for. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. The other thing in the news, which may not seem that important, but it's definitely of interest, is Hunter Biden traveled with Joe to Ireland this week.
Yeah.
You just like in the middle of an FBI investigation into his like shady business dealings overseas, decides I'm going to go on a trip overseas with my father, who I have had shady overseas business dealings with. But it's just a family trip. That's it. Nothing to see here. I mean, I haven't gone on a family trip with my family since the last shady business dealing back in like 2015. But
and it happened to be on Air Force One, which makes it seem a little less social and more
business related. Yes. Yeah, because supposedly they were just going over there to commemorate like the end of like the hostilities in Northern Ireland.
Oh.
With like the IRA and shit like that. So, and they're Irish, so they're going back to their roots. You know, I mean, Joe did say I'm coming home or some stupid thing like that. I mean, they're making it too much of a flowery like family moment for it to actually be that thing. It's just like, well, we're gonna go revisit our roots and visit the place our ancestors.
No, and nothing dealing with the Bidens is flowery family shit.
No, it's always like something shady. And well, Joe's probably just there because he likes the ice cream.
Exactly. I hear they have good ice cream. In Ireland.
So that's some of the stuff we're going to talk about, and obviously we got to talk more Hunter Biden than just Ireland. We got to get into
as usual. He has lots of shit going on.
He's got a lot of shit going on. So and it's shit right under our noses. That's the thing that makes me question the Ireland thing so much is because it's so blatant in your face, and obviously everybody is going to ask the question, what is this guy going on a trip with Joe for? What does he have business dealings going on? And they're just like thumbing their nose. It's like, fuck you, we're doing it right in front of you, and I'm the president this time. So we're gonna get into all that stuff.
I mean, how many people like shit a brick when Hunter comes off of Air Force One, and they're like, "Oh shit, why did he do that?"
Right. They're like, why is he here? Well, he didn't even tell people that Hunter was going. He was just like 2 family members who have never made the trip. First of all, I don't believe that Hunter's never been to Ireland.
No, yeah.
Second of all, why Hunter of all people? You'd think he'd be distancing himself from that guy.
Right.
But who knows? Maybe they're making amends or something. Maybe it's his final trip with Daddy before Daddy kicks the bucket.
Yeah,
who knows? We're going to talk about that stuff and all the stuff that I feel is, as I titled the show, that's going on like right under our noses, and we're just not supposed to ask the questions. And if we do, who fucking cares? Because they're like high up people that can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a lot of money laundering, I think, today.
Oh, I like
a lot of it.
I
so,
like that.
A lot of misappropriations of funding.
That seems to follow with the Biden line.
And then also the war in Ukraine. So
of course,
they tie
because it
together.
all goes together.
And Ukraine and Burisma and Hunter, it
Yes.
all comes back around. It's all connected.
Yes.
Is what I got to say. Before we get into the show, obviously we got to mention to check us out all over the social medias. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I haven't been on Instagram in a while because I deleted it from my phone because I got pissed at it.
Why'd you get pissed?
Because like every time I'm scrolling through videos, like it doesn't matter what I've clicked on because usually it like follows what you've clicked on.
Yeah.
It's just like suddenly, at least like 5 months ago when I deleted it, all of a sudden it was just like underage girls like dancing in like skimpy clothes. I'm like, I don't want to fucking see this, and I just like deleted it. So it was like worse than TikTok, I think. So I don't know, maybe they've come around, but probably not. So it's gone. But we do have an Instagram page, as well as Facebook page and a Twitter page, which is where I like to hang out and post all the saucy stuff.
What's the Trump thing?
Truth Social? No,
Yeah,
we should get on Truth Social and troll.
I've never been on Truth Social.
And troll the MAGA Republicans.
Yes,
it would be fun. You can find us at our handle on the social medias at Break the Bell Pod. Come hang out and troll with us because that's primarily what I like to do is troll. So make sure you take the effort, take the time right now while I'm rambling, and click the like, subscribe button on all those things. Share it far and wide across the interwebs because we just want to be famous, and that's what we're shooting for. So help us be famous by liking and subscribing. You can check out our website at breakthebellpod.com, find access to all our social media links, as well as some awesome kick-ass merchandise like the I Will Not Eat Your Bug shirt, the We Are Not Your Pawns shirt, our logo stuff, cups, t-shirts, all that fun stuff. All that, links to that is at breakthebellpod.com. Make sure you check it out, buy some cool shit, and look freaking awesome because it's awesome stuff. And that's it. I'm ready to get right into this.
Let's do it.
We are going to kick off this intro video, and my voice cracked like I was going through puberty there. Man, I'm doing terrible.
Just thought you were.
Kick off this intro video, and when we come back, we're going to talk about all the things that we just mentioned. We'll be right back.
What did you say?
You talking to me?
What the heck are you talking about?
What did you say?
What did you say? What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you saying? What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Well, maybe he was talking to me.
What'd you say?
Talk to me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Talk to me, baby!
What did you just say?
What did you say?
You listen to me. Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
And we're back, just as we promised.
We try to keep that promise.
I was gonna say we keep our promise. We don't keep our promises,
no, we don't.
but we try. We almost broke
did.
our promise tonight.
We almost did, yes.
My kid almost had baseball practice, and I was like, I don't know if it's gonna work out tonight, or we might have to kick it back till 8. We might have to. And then I was like, You might have to kick it to Tuesday, and you're like, I'm busy. What is it you're busy with these days?
Tuesday nights I have a flying class.
Yeah, a flying class.
Yeah.
Now, this guy here, who can't show up, well, he showed up on time today, just to prove my point wrong.
Yes.
Can't park between two lines.
That's true.
Taking flying lessons.
Yes.
So if you want to get in your goodbyes now to Bill, the comment section is open because this may or may not be the last time we hear from Bill.
I just figured we'd do the Break the Bell World Tour and just kind of.
I'm not getting on the plane with you. That is like a Kennedy getting on a plane. It's not happening. Joseph says, I think that intro video is the only reason I listen to this bullshit. That is fine. I mean, that's the only reason I do this. For 2 hours is just for the intro video. Derek is here. Derek says, do not fear. I'm here. I ventured deep into the hellhole that is Illinois and made it out with my guns and 0 citations. Good job.
Nice.
He says, not on time. Sounds like a pilot. There you go. I guess that you do have
there
something
you go.
going.
I got that going.
Derek, I venture into Illinois with mine and somehow make it out in one piece and not under arrest multiple times. My family lives in Illinois, and the problem is, like, reciprocating laws don't apply in Illinois, and but the problem is the states that don't reciprocate the laws are the states that I would most likely want to carry in. So, not saying I do anything criminally, obviously.
I went to Chicago this weekend.
Did you carry?
I did not. My wife asked if I did. My wife, who does not like guns, said, "You brought your gun, right?" And I was like, "No, I did not. I got my pocket knife, but I did not bring my gun."
Gonna shank a bitch?
If I got to, man.
Yes, Derek. My family is a poor family. I keep begging them to move out of that godforsaken hellhole, but they're still there. We got to get into the show. Thanks for joining, Derek. I'm glad that you made it out alive because that place is a total shithole. So. All this stuff started developing on the Pentagon leaker. I'm like, we already talked about it last week. And then the Hunter Biden stuff kind of popped up. And I was just like, I'm sure I can tie this all together somehow.
Absolutely.
So we're going to try to figure out how to tie it together tonight. But first of all, I wanted to follow up on the Pentagon stuff.
Yeah.
If you missed last week's episode, I'm not going to totally recap it. So go back and listen to it. We talked about the Pentagon leak and the information that got out and stuff.
We had some pretty juicy conspiracy theories going with it, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously, it's this show. It's me. There's going to be conspiracy theories no matter what. This isn't a conspiracy theory podcast, but yet, for some reason, conspiracy theories always pop up on the show. True. Because I don't believe anything. So I got to make up my own stories. Yes.
There's too many coincidences.
So following up on the Pentagon leak, like I said in the intro, the perpetrator has been caught.
Yes, and was it who you expected?
No. I expected I don't know,
like a shining knight, right?
Well, like an Edward Snowden, like a
2.0,
or like a Julian Assange.
Somebody's like, "Fuck yeah, I did it,"
or a Chelsea Manning.
Yeah.
I actually expected more of a Chelsea Manning than.
Well, you're not far off.
It's just today's world we live in. So I got this article from NPR titled "What We Know About Jack Teixeira, the suspected leaker of the Pentagon documents," and this just isn't nearly as cool as I thought it would be. Which means it's probably not real anyway.
That's probably true.
So this is the guy right here. He looks like he's 12.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I guess this is his graduation picture.
Oh,
no, or is this must be his Air Force? Yeah, I thought that was like a grad cap, but that's probably his Air Force.
Yeah, it looks like his Air Force
freaking triangle hat thing.
Yeah.
Because he's got like the emblems on his shoulder, but he looks like he's 12.
Yes, yes, he does.
Yeah, he looks like he could go to school with my
and
my
he
kid.
looks like somebody who would think that if he posed it, he would be cool to his friends.
Yeah, I mean that's true. So, I'm gonna read one of the follow-up articles that I'm gonna read. You're gonna laugh at. So just memorize this face.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like a strapping military type, right?
Sure.
Like the type white supremacist, like bulky. Lead. If you're listening,
tattoos, right? Nice big full beard.
Obviously, yes. No, he looks exactly like you would think of a 12-year-old would look. But just remember, burn that image in your head.
Okay.
So it says Jack Teixeira, who is accused of publishing top secret Pentagon documents on social media, made his initial court appearance at the U.S. District Court for District of Massachusetts on Friday. The 21-year-old member of the Massachusetts Air National Guard faces 2 criminal counts: unauthorized retention and transmission of national defense information, and the unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. Now remember, all right, so a little bit of flashback. Weren't these papers that came out of the Pentagon, right?
Yes.
He's Massachusetts National Guard IT.
Yes.
And they had said these are documents that would only be available to, like, the top generals and shit.
Yeah. And remember, hard copy papers.
Yes.
Right?
National Guard IT top officials at the Pentagon. Like, they even mentioned, like, General Milley type status.
Right, yes. And this Air National Guard. National Guard.
Air National Guard, Massachusetts, no less.
Yes.
General Milley.
Yes.
You are connecting dots at all? Are they there to connect? I don't know. I'm missing something. Does anybody know?
General Milley's bitch.
Derek Ambrose says, big balls for a member of the chair force. Thank you. I agree.
National Guard chair force.
National Guard. Like part-time.
We got to emphasize that. National Guard.
Part-time chair force.
Yes. Weekend chair force.
Weekend warrior of the chair force. So sorry to all you out there who might be National Guard in the Air Force, but we're going to make fun of you. I'm not sure what that says. It's code. I don't know what that says, Derek. Some super code there. Sorry, my brain ain't working. So it goes on. It says, the investigation began last week after a small number of classified documents surfaced on Twitter and Telegram. The documents include sensitive details about the war in Ukraine, as well as eavesdropping from intelligence agencies on world leaders. Here is what we know about him. Tex Sierra comes from a military family and works in IT. Now, remember, a lot of these people come from, like, FBI backgrounds. Right. This guy is, like, military background. Not only that, but, like, his stepdad and his stepbrother both work on that same exact base, too. So I'm going to say there's some kind of conspiracy there just because that's where my brain goes.
My question would be, what does his dad do?
Yeah, and they don't bring that up, and I didn't find anything about him either. Tex Sierra lives in North Dighton, Massachusetts, about 50 miles south of Boston. According to charging documents, he worked in the 102nd Intel Wing based at Otis Air Force Base in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, since May of 2022. Tex Sierra's stepfather and stepbrother appear to have worked at the same military base. Since February, he was a cyber transport system journeyman. That's a fancy way of saying he's IT.
IT. Yes.
He's an information
in training. IT in training.
Is that what it said?
Well, he's journeyman.
Oh, yeah. So he's not even like... But apparently it was enough to get him a top-secret clearance, according to them. Yeah, he's part-time, Air Force, IT in training, but
has top-level
clearance.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Good to clear.
Tex Sierra's unit provides worldwide intelligence for combat support and homeland security. He was granted a top-secret security clearance in 2021, even though he was based there since 22. I don't know. Meaning he would have signed a lifetime binding non-disclosure agreement, acknowledging that leaking protected information could result in criminal charges, according to the federal complaint.
Well, you fucked that up.
Yeah. It's not the first time a person with an IT background has been suspected of leaking classified information. Now, they're going to make the connection. Who are they going to connect it to? Edward Snowden, who has released a trove of documents from National Security Agency in 2013, was a federal contractor and system admin in Hawaii at the time. Generally, IT professionals have access to an array of records and servers in order to fix technical problems. Following the recent leak, Pentagon said they are reevaluating who gets access to these kinds of files. Yeah, he might have access, but how do you know where to look for them? Right. Because, like they said, troves.
Yeah.
Troves of, top secret information.
And wouldn't that information, have some kind of encryption?
Well, right? Yeah, but he puts the encryption on it. He's the IT guy.
I don't know.
I feel like we're missing something here. Oh, Derek said that's elite hacker. Okay. Texas has allegedly Tech Sierra has allegedly disclosed classified information for the past 5 months. According to court documents, a social media user suspected of being Tech Sierra began releasing classified info in paragraphs of text on an undisclosed social media platform as early as December 2022. I'm just going to throw this out here. Undisclosed, it was Discord.
Yes.
They've already come out and told everybody
disclosed.
it was Discord. The charging documents confirm he posted the documents in a private channel on a social media platform, though did not specifically identify it. But according to posts from his friends on social media viewed by NPR, Tech Sierra posted the classified docs in a group chat on the platform Discord. There you go. Initially, the purpose of divulging secret information was to discuss geopolitical affairs and current and historical wars.
I feel like there would have been a better way to do that.
I mean, there's news reports out there.
Yeah, I mean, we discuss that stuff all the time. And
Yeah.
I don't feel like we leak anything.
Maybe we
on
are, and we
purpose.
just don't know it.
That's true.
Yeah, if I had it to leak, I would leak it on purpose. I'm just throwing that out there now.
But that
If
would
the
be more
FBI is
impressive
listening.
than accidentally leaking it.
But beginning in January, so he started out just typing paragraphs. He's like, "Guys, I heard this, and I know this because I'm intel in the military." You know, one of those. You know the type.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I was in the military. I read this, and you have no idea what I have access to." And
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, "Bullshit."
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Oh, and they don't believe me. I'm gonna take pictures of it and post it to prove it." I mean, that's where this. I mean, I could see a 21-year-old
Yeah.
dumbass
Yeah.
trying to
Impress his friends.
Yeah, impress his friends. There's probably a girl.
Yeah. Probably.
Or at
There's
least somebody that
there's
has
always
a
girl.
female character
Yes.
on the game. Might not be a girl.
It might not, just someone pretending.
Yes. Says, beginning in January, the online user began posting photographs of what appeared to be official U.S. government documents with classification markings. Among the documents photographed was the status of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, including troop movements on a particular date. The leaker later explained to another user that he was concerned he would get in trouble for making the transcripts of text in the workplace, so he began taking the documents to his residence and photographing them. So he's
so
just like,
much better.
Yes, he's like, I see this stuff online, but if I write it all down, I could be accused of transcribing classified information. So instead, I'm going to steal it,
sneak it home,
in my pocket, and take pictures,
and then send it to you,
And
because
send it.
that's going to be way better. Yes.
Who is this guy? He's got to be like some kind of super genius that just like poses as a dumbass.
I don't quite think that.
Like what they say of Donald Trump, they're like, dude, he's a fucking genius. And you're like, is he? I'm not seeing it. I haven't seen the indicators that you're seeing that just scream genius.
Maybe he's like Rain Man, right? Like no social grace, but
no, he's not. He's a dumbass. He's a total dumbass. The leaker later explained to another user who's we talked about that. It says, another online user known to have interacted with the leader told the FBI. So we got a rat in your group. That's how great this group is. Tech Sierra's online friends were fascinated by Orthodox Catholicism, guns, and racist memes. So you see where the painting is going here.
Religious, gun freak, racist.
First of all, I'm somewhat religious-ish. I like guns, and I do occasionally like to share with my inner circle some may or may not be memes of the racial stereotypes.
Yes,
just because they're fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
but I got the ginger beard, so I already fit the bill. So I guess it doesn't
but
matter.
Not Orthodox Catholic. I mean that's the line right there.
No, but yeah, but they do make a point, not on this article, to point out that I think NPR was just trying to say he's a Christian nationalist without saying he's a Christian
nationalist.
NPR found that many users of the Discord channel where Tech Sierra leaked information were fascinated by Orthodox Catholicism, guns, as well as racist, vile memes. I want to know what NPR constitutes as vile. Meanwhile, the founder of the channel used a profile picture of Terry Davis, a computer programmer who suffered from schizophrenia and spoke about hearing the voice of God.
What does that have to do with anything?
Nothing at all. His friend said Taxiera did not intend for the documents to spread beyond their chat, but at least one of those friends posted them on other Discord servers. You are a dickhead.
Yep.
Taxiero posted the documents using a social media account that he signed up for using his real name and his real credit card information, according to the charging documents. You still want to go with the Rain Man theory?
No.
On Discord, users can boost channels by they manage by making monthly payments, allowing them to get better streaming quality and other perks like access to additional emojis. So, I mean, if it wasn't for him posting his real name and credit card information, he would have never had access to those emojis.
Oh, yeah.
Top secret classified
you
emojis.
gotta get that. Yeah.
Opinion so far?
Yeah, he sounds like a dumbass. A dumbass who doesn't know his friends well enough. Like you said.
I mean, we've seen enough evidence that you don't just trust anybody.
Yeah.
First of all, he hasn't matured enough in life to realize that at least 3 of the people in his group are feds.
Right. Yeah, right.
I mean, talk to Brandon
Yeah.
Caserta.
Yeah.
And you'll find out.
I wonder if one of
they're
those
feds.
friends are like, hey, man, let's see what kind of top secret stuff you can send us.
Yeah, it's like, I don't believe you. Could
Yeah.
you send us a photograph of some
He's
top
like,
secret
"Oh, yeah?
information?
How about this? And what about this?" He's like, "Oh, that's good. What else you got?"
Yeah, when is it going to come out that like his whole like Discord
Yeah.
server was feds?
Yeah,
was just
right.
feds, because that's what it always comes down to.
Yeah.
Like, do you see? We haven't talked about it yet, but like, I think 40 more people at the J6 rally were confirmed feds now.
Oh, really?
Like, we're talking a very large number of
That
feds
doesn't surprise me.
that like
That
headed
doesn't
this
surprise
thing
me.
up.
Yeah.
And still there are people sitting in jail for this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not what we're here to talk about. But
No, but I mean, it just shows, how far they would go.
oh yeah. So
Right.
I think this whole thing screams of some kind of psyop of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this guy is a dumbass that they just like kind of Timothy McVeigh type dumbass that just like susceptible, not the same type of person as Timothy McVeigh, but the susceptible type that can easily be influenced to do some sort of bidding in this grand
again,
scheme, which wasn't
all-
a very grand scheme, but
all it takes is a girl.
it
again,
is. It really
right?
is, especially
And-
in the online world, the gamer world.
Yeah, exactly. And you got this 21-year-old kid, who looks like a Pee Wee Herman doll, and he would instantly leak anything.
Yeah, so let's get into the reasoning why,
Yeah.
because this is an opinion
And
piece.
I love that they say Gen Z.
Yeah. Was the Gen Z Pentagon leaker motivated by social media clout? I mean, that's enough to...
Yeah.
I mean, are they not teaching about peer pressure in school anymore? They really aren't, but
Right.
It's just like, don't do drugs because of peer pressure, and don't hand out top secret military classified documents
They
because
probably
of
don't
peer
pass that one
pressure.
down.
You don't think so? Maybe they need to include that.
They need to nowadays.
So apparently, according to this op-ed from The Guardian, it was all about social media clout, which again, I mean, sure, maybe looking at this kid, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too convenient.
I agree.
It's
I
too
agree.
easy to be like, wow, that kid's just a dumbass.
Yeah.
Says Massachusetts Air. Oh, Joseph is still here. He didn't get totally offended and leave. Or just leave after the intro video. Joseph says part of the narrative is white Christian gun lover equals bad. Yes, absolutely. Not nearly on the level of Edward Snowden. This guy is being made an example of. I would agree.
But again, the difference is Edward Snowden purposely did it, right? Because he wanted that information out there. This kid, he didn't expect anybody to find this shit out. Somehow, and in this big
A part
brain
of me
his.
does think that this is possibly the truth because of how they're trying to spin the whole white supremacist, Christian nationalist type, gun-loving type. It's like, we got to get something out of this.
Right.
This guy is giving us nothing. He's just a nerd that wants clout on social media.
Be like, that's it?
Well, and he's kind of a racist. It's like, oh yeah, and he likes guns. Oh, okay, now we got a story. You got anything else? Well, they seem to like Catholicism. Christian nationalists.
Yeah.
We got our story right here. So this one says Massachusetts Air National Guardsman Jack Teixeira, 21, has been charged in a Boston court on 2 counts under the Espionage Act, and the question on everybody's mind is why. Unlike with whistleblowers in the past, such as Daniel Ellsberg, who posted the Pentagon Papers, and Chelsea Manning, WikiLeaks, neither ethics or politics seem to be the motivation of Teixeira's alleged leak of hundreds of pages of classified documents related to the war on Ukraine. There's more there. There's got to be more there because they keep focusing on the war in Ukraine.
Right.
There's got to be something there that they're not talking about because they're hyper-focused on just the part about the war in Ukraine.
We went through all that stuff last week, and there, South Korea, Turkey,
but there's
satellites.
hundreds of pages. There's got to be more stuff there that we're missing.
Yes, I agree.
He doesn't appear to have been acting as an agent for a foreign government, according to his criminal complaint. So why is he allegedly behind one of the worst leaks of U.S. intel in a decade, for which he now faces up to 15 years in prison? Based on what we know so far, the answer may be that he did it, as they used to say, for the Vine, for social media clout. Wow, their age is really showing.
Heard that before.
Well,
Vine?
it's the earlier millennial type language, because Vine was kind of like the TikTok of like the pre-millennials, I guess. So yeah, did it for the TikTok. Does that make more sense?
All right, that works.
Did it for, I don't know what the equivalent is in your old ass age.
Pony Express.
Something like that. Sources say he wanted to impress a bunch of teenage boys and young men, that's creepy, who were his acolytes in a Discord chat room of 20 to 30 gamers who referred to themselves as, did you hear this one? Thug Shaker Central.
No, really? Thug Shaker Central.
That was their Discord server name, was Thug Shaker Central. The most wannabe gangster name imaginable for a bunch of gamers whose leader, Teixeira, lived with his mother. The group, which was dedicated to discussing guns and anti-war themed video games, and war-themed video games, was apparently full of young men like Teixeira. Young men Teixeira liked to lecture with his superior knowledge of military subjects. After some of them expressed doubts about whether he had access to classified information, which he had told them he did, in his position as an IT guy with a high-level security clearance, blah, 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 he allegedly started photographing sensitive documents and emailing them to the group's members, after which they eventually wound their way onto Russian-language Telegram channels. I gotta throw that in there. For young men growing up in the digital age, when everything seems accessible, except maybe classified government documents, this struck Thug Shaker Central members as immensely cool. Nothing about this group strikes me as immensely cool. Nothing.
No.
None of it.
No.
They called Teixeira OG, or Original Gangster. Now, remember back to the picture. This guy, OG, Original Gangster, as I like their boomer explanation of it.
Yeah, right.
Original Gangster. Everyone respected OG, a member of the group with the username Vaki told the New York Times. He was the man, the myth, and he was the legend. This is not fucking real. These people are not real, and if they are, good God. Everyone respected this guy. Teixeira's story.
Man, myth, and legend.
Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Now,
I'm ready.
Remember, back to this guy right here.
That guy.
Teixeira's story epitomizes a strain of Gen Z white males who have been raised by the dark corners of the internet as much as by their parents. Some of his backstory actually echoes those of mass shooters. Former classmates described him as an odd kid who made others feel uneasy. Okay. He's an odd kid. He got into IT. He's clearly an odd kid.
Right.
He made comments some saw as racist. He seemed obsessed with guns and war. A lot of people were wary of him. Bullshit.
They weren't
Said a
wary of
former
him.
classmate.
Right.
After the 2017 mass shooting in Vegas, Teixeira reportedly showed up to the school wearing a shirt adorned with an image of an AR-15. A deleted account reportedly linked to him on the gaming site Steam had its avatar a black-clad figure clutching a rifle. The FBI is said to have found guns in his home when they came to arrest him. Nothing. You're just making a story.
He's a 21-year-old National Guardsman.
Yeah, of course he has pictures of guns. I have pictures. God, I'm going to get arrested. It's going to happen. They're making a profile on me. Gen Z is often lauded as an energetic young activist committed to a host of progressive causes such as climate crisis, LGBTQ plus rights, and indeed gun control. But there are other Gen Zers who lean far to the right. Often they are lonely, isolated young men and boys who fall prey to white supremacists and other right-wing extremists who seek them out online, looking to radicalize their...
Give me a fucking break.
What is this, ISIS?
Yeah, right?
Al-Qaeda? What is going on? Again, they're taking... This is why I think this is probably the real story, because they're making it so much bigger than it is.
Yeah, no, I have a different image of this guy now.
Social media companies are notoriously complicit in the problem, routinely failing to block hateful blah, 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 blah. Members of the Thug Shaker Central, which formed during the pandemic, reportedly exchanged racist and anti-Semitic epithets and memes, while some of its members have appeared in other groups featuring Nazi iconography. There's no point in hiding it, Vaki, the rat, told the New York Times, discussing the extreme ideology of the group. I'm not a good person. This isn't real. This is not real.
Fucking Fed.
Baki's the Fed.
Yeah.
Baki's the one that probably showed up with the Nazi iconography, and he's like,
Hey guys, check this out.
I'm not a good person. I'm actually a Nazi. There's no point in hiding it. I'm a Nazi. And these kids are too young to be like Fed.
Yeah, right.
What happens now is Tex Hero will be tried and blah, 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 blah. Now, there was one part where they talked about how these people looked up to him as, like, kind of the father figure of the group because of his, like, military physique, his war knowledge, and all that information. I thought it was this one, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe I passed over it, but we get the point. His clear military
I have a new
physique.
image of this kid. All right, this kid who, joined the Weekend Warriors because of his stepdad and his stepbrother, right? Mm-hmm. And he listens to gangster rap, right? And thumps in the car until he sees an African American. Then he turns his music down, and he started talking about this military stuff to all these young kids who probably don't know he looks like this, right? He probably posted fake pictures.
You know he did.
Yeah, so some dude with a big full-ass beard and jacked with tats all over. And so they think this guy's a hero. And yeah, he's just a much kid as them. But he has acolytes.
Joseph says, TSC for life, yo. The Thug Shaker Central.
Yes. Kids like that do not get acolytes. They're not called myth and legends.
No. Except for maybe by feds.
Yes, exactly. So he was an odd kid in school. He started posting, and
this is smart. Probably smart. He got into IT.
Yeah, he got into IT.
IT for the military, so he's semi-smart.
Right. Yeah, right. But, I mean, these kids started building him up because he was posting this shit, and he felt like a big guy. And so he kept building it up and to be this huge myth and legend in his head. And nobody actually knew who this kid was until now.
So is Jack the Fed, or is the guy that's like, yeah, bro, we're Nazis and I'm not ashamed of it? Or is he the Fed? Or are they all Feds and they don't know that they're all Feds?
Probably all Feds and they don't even know it. Like, hey, I'm bringing in this collar today, and be like, oh, that's Agent White, and he's like, oh shit.
So the last thing I really want to point out about this is the MAGA world rushing to defend this kid. By the MAGA world, it's like the three people that you don't really care to hear from: Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, and Donald Trump Jr. are the three that they mentioned.
How are they defending him?
Because he's a whistleblower.
Bullshit.
He's like a martyr and a whistleblower.
He's a dumbass kid.
So this is from the Insider. It says, MAGA world is rushing to defend Jack Teixeira, the accused Pentagon leaker who allegedly dumped secret documents online to impress his teenage gamer buddies. That is the title.
Yeah.
Very long. It's not going to let me read it. Oh, yeah, well, here it is.
Okay.
It was just on down. It says, prominent figures associated with former President Donald Trump and the far right have rushed to the defense of the 21-year-old Air National Guardsman who has been charged in connection with the leak of dozens of secret documents. But accounts of why he allegedly shared the secrets paint... Oh, it says, to them, Teixeira is a martyr for revealing the truth about the stalemate war in Ukraine to the American people. First of all, to say that the numbers are a little bit fudged, and to say that this isn't going as well as we hoped, did that really come to a surprise?
No, you and I talked about that.
We have for a fucking year.
Yes.
They're not telling us the truth, guys.
Yes.
They're not telling us the truth. The war, the numbers are skewed.
Yeah.
Russia's saying one thing, we're saying another. Nobody knows the real. And then it comes out, it's like, wow, he's a hero for disclosing this thing that we already knew.
Yeah.
Says, but accounts of why he allegedly shared the secrets paint a more complicated picture. So then it talks about, says, rather than a feeling of grand patriotism, Teixeira was largely driven by a desire to inform and impress the mostly teenage gamers he befriended online. Known to them mostly as OG, he didn't intend the documents to be shared across the internet to provoke a broad public debate about continued U.S. support for the war. He also reportedly expressed racist and anti-Semitic views in his discussion with his gamer friends. Okay. Let's see. Let's go. Let's scroll down to Marjorie Taylor Greene's comment.
Okay.
Teixeira is white male Christian and anti-war. He's not anti-war because the whole room was dedicated to talking about war.
Yes.
And
he romanticized war.
Yes.
He wanted to be war.
This is another. So the media is painting this picture of this this like racist gun nut type, and then the far right is painting him as this like hero, like Q status hero here.
Right.
Maybe this is Q. Did you ever stop and think about this?
You know what?
I mean, he's probably 14 when Q became a thing, but
he could have been hacking for a while.
It's true. She says he's a white male Christian and anti-war. That makes him an enemy to the Biden regime, says Green. And he told the truth about troops being on the ground in Ukraine and a lot more, which she probably voted to send them there.
Yeah, right.
Green said in a tweet. In another, she said that many are calling Jake Teixeira a hero for pulling back the flimsy, transparent curtain and revealing what we suspected all along. All right, so first of all, your picture you're painting there isn't very heroic. He pulled back the flimsy, transparent curtain to reveal what we already saw.
Because we could all see through the flimsy, transparent curtain.
You didn't have to do that even.
Right.
He's like, and behind this clear window is exactly what you saw. Are you impressed?
Right. And he wasn't doing this out of patriotism.
No, that's what they're saying.
He was doing this because he wanted street cred.
Insider asked a spokesperson for Green whether she's aware of the reports indicating he made anti-Semitic remarks and reportedly did not intend for documents to reach anyone beyond the gamers in his Discord group. I like how they discredit him just by throwing out anti-Semitic remarks.
Right.
Well, he can't be a hero. Did you know he's anti-Semitic? And she's like, oh, shit. Okay.
But I guess I would want context on that.
Yeah, well,
what does that
me
mean?
Too.
Right?
I don't know. You seem to be putting words in Congresswoman Greene's mouth, her spokesperson said. Shame on you. You aren't a journalist. You're a Democrat activist working as a Biden administration propagandist. Isn't that what journalists are?
Yeah, right.
Tucker Carlson says they're treating him worse than Osama bin Laden.
Are they?
According to him. He says, tonight, the news media are celebrating the capture of the kid who told America what's actually happening in Ukraine, because we didn't already know. They are treating him like Osama bin Laden. Maybe even worse, actually, because unlike al-Qaeda, apparently this kid is a racist. While making the case that Ukraine was actually a losing war, Carlson shared bogus casualty figures from an altered version of one of the leaked documents. Here we go. So sticking to the narrative pretty hard there. Meanwhile, Donald Trump Jr. in a tweet suggested that he would be a hero to the media and to the left if he leaked that the Trump administration was waging an unlawful war against nuclear superpower without the knowledge of the people or the approval of Congress. First of all, the people know and Congress approves.
Right.
They do.
Yes.
They just do. So that's that. Those three are coming to his back. What do you think of their statements?
I think they sound really pathetic.
This is stupid. This is fucking dumb.
Yeah. I mean, they're just, they have no clue. I mean, they're coming to his, and again, he's just a stupid kid who has no agenda other than to try to get in some chick's pants. Maybe see somebody's
or
boobs.
he's a Fed that's like integral part
do you
of.
think he's a Fed?
Either this is really stupid and they're doctoring it up, which is what it appears to be on the surface. Because of how hard they're playing this anti-Semitic, racist, gun-loving, blah blah blah. On the surface, I guess it probably appears that this is legit. This is a dumbass IT kid that just wants to be cool, and they need a better story than this is a dumbass IT kid that needs to be cool. But there's always, and we talked about this last week, that this is just some sort of psyop to push some further like whistleblower type laws.
Yeah, and maybe that's it. Maybe they're blowing it up.
Push like social media, like being able to control social media, like the Discord servers, the Telegrams, like the Wild West of the social media, I guess, if you could still say there is something like that, just to rein it in and control it more, kind of like they did after January 6th with, what was the other? Was it Telegram?
No, it was Parler.
No, well, there was Parler, but there was the one, like the chat, the secret chat one, Signal.
Signal, yes.
Yeah, they went after Signal for that one. So, this is just a this is just a stupid psyop if it's a psyop for that. But I think they will take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, they will, and maybe they're blowing up more than what it is. Maybe he did leak some, and then they're like, you know what, we can use this, right? Let's make this even bigger, and so maybe they decide to run with it.
So do you think a ton of information was disclosed through this kid about the Ukraine war specifically? Do you think it's like enough that the public's going to be like, oh, we shouldn't be in this war?
No. I don't think it's changing anybody's minds.
I don't either, because, again, it's stuff we all kind of do, the flimsy, transparent curtain that they talked about.
But it's stuff that you and I and maybe the circles you're rolling know, but it's not enough for Joe Blow down the street to even pay attention.
Do you think it's possible that this is a cover-up to get you to not see the actual questions being asked about the Ukraine war?
Oh, absolutely.
Or just to put that, if something were to pop up, that this was a smokescreen for to be like, oh, you're just that guy.
Right. No, and I think this whole thing was, I don't want to say, it was much less of a story than what they've made it.
Maybe like it's to discredit actual whistleblowers.
Yeah.
Like make them all look like dumbass kids on Discord.
But I mean, look how many people took the bait when they were like, well, he released a lot, but obviously these numbers are doctored because, do you think, how many people do you think actually bought that part of it? Like, well.
Well, they all did. You saw just on that article, it's like, well, Tucker Carlson repeated that one part that was wrong and that was clearly altered.
Right.
And he's like promoting this false narrative of fake Russian casualties. And so, they grabbed on that hook, line, and sinker.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to stay right in the Ukraine area because I want to talk about somebody that actually is talking about what's going on in Ukraine because this is more interesting to me. Yes, we talked about the thing that's going on, but do you remember Seymour Hersh? Do you remember that name?
Mm-mm.
He was the guy a couple weeks ago that wrote the article saying that the U.S. was responsible for the Nord Stream 2 pipeline getting blown up. He's on a suicide mission, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Because he wrote another article on his Substack about embezzlement, Zelensky's embezzlement of U.S. funds in the Ukraine war.
Wow. Okay.
So he's like all in on this.
Good.
So I wanted to read this article before we move on to the Hunter Biden stuff because for me, like, that is all smokescreen for what's actually happening there. So you don't ask the questions because you're too focused on, the Pentagon leaks, inflated numbers, and like more people died or less people died, and stalemates and blah blah blah. do we listen to what's really going on? Well, this is what's really going on, in my opinion, and obviously Seymour Hersh's opinion as well. This is titled, Zelensky and his generals embezzled at least $400 million in U.S. aid last year, according to Intel. It says the Ukrainian authorities in Kiev have embezzled $400 million last year at least of U.S. taxpayer money, according to veteran American journalist Seymour Hersh, who recently grabbed headlines for his long-read article describing how it was the government of the U.S. that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Now, a new Substack by Hersh reveals explosive detail of how U.S., UK, and European taxpayer cash is being used to line the pockets of Ukrainian politicians. I think we've suggested this before in the past.
Yeah.
I think from the beginning.
Yeah, we talked about how this was just a huge money-making thing for everybody.
Including Zelensky and his allies. The money, according to Hersh and his sources, has been used to buy luxury cars and fund ostentatious lifestyles. And they did come out kind of with this because, remember, 10 of his generals got fired for driving luxury cars.
And shit like that.
Well, apparently it went a lot deeper, and those were just the fall guys that took the fall for it.
And we kind of suspected that as well.
Yeah. It says, the money, according to Hersh and his sources, has been used to buy luxury cars and fund ostentatious lifestyles. Allegedly, the director of America's CIA, William Burns, went so far as to present Zelensky personally with a list of 35 generals and senior officials whose corruption was known to the CIA and others in the American government. Zelensky claimed Hersh publicly dismissed 10 of the most ostentatious officials. So it was just a show. It was just a show to well, look, I fired him. We're good.
Yeah.
More damning for the Ukrainian president, however, is the claim that the senior generals and the government officials in Kiev were angry at what they saw as Zelensky's greed, alleging he was taking a larger share of skim money than was going to his generals. Seymour Hersh goes on to talk about embezzling oil money. Now, this is pretty damning. Apparently, according to Hersh, the U.S. is giving cash to Zelensky, and he is using it to buy discount diesel from Russia. This is according to Hersh. So he's taking our money, paying Russia for cheap diesel fuel.
Yeah.
Do you see a problem here?
Yeah, he's supposed to be at war with them.
He's supposed to be at war with them, and there's supposed to be trade embargoes and shit like that with Russia, specifically with the country that we are aiding to fight Russia.
Right.
Effectively helping fuel both sides of the conflict that continues to enrich the elite and the defense corporations. The Ukrainian government, headed by Zelensky, has been using American taxpayer funds to pay dearly for the vitally needed diesel fuel that is keeping the Ukrainian army on the move in its war with Russia. It is unknown how much the Zelensky government is paying per gallon for fuel, but the Pentagon was paying as much as $400 per gallon to transport gasoline in Pakistan into Afghanistan during the decades-long American war there.
Jeez.
So we could be paying as much as $400 per gallon, maybe more, for Zelensky to buy fuel from Russia. And how much of that is actually going to Russia? If he's buying it at discount, he could be saying, writing it off, having his bookie write it off as $400 a gallon, but he's only paying $200 a gallon to Russia.
And then he's pocketing
the rest of it. What also is unknown is that Zelensky has been buying the fuel from Russia, the country with which it and Washington are at war, and the Ukrainian president and many in his entourage have been skimming untold millions from the American dollars earmarked for diesel fuel payments, like we just said. So it's like they're paying them for fuel, and they're supposed to be spending it on legal fuel, which but they're buying it, like we said, cheaper from from Russia.
Oh yeah, it's $400 a gallon, and then they buy it from Russia for $190, and then they take the rest of the money.
It says one estimate by the analysis from the CIA put the embezzled funds, so the CIA knows about the shit, put the embezzled funds at $400 million last year at least. Another expert compared the level of corruption in Kiev as approaching that of the Afghan war, although there will be no professional audit reports emerging from Ukraine. Zelensky's been buying discount diesel from the Russians. And who's paying for that gas and oil? We are. Putin and his oligarchs are making millions on it. This, according to freaking Seymour Hersh, a CIA guy, told him this. Seymour Hersh says he was told that many government ministries in Kiev have been literally. So this is a side note.
Okay.
Away from the fuel. Many government ministries from Ukraine have literally been competing to set up front companies to export contracts for weapons and ammunition with private arms dealers around the world. Many of those companies are in Poland and Czechia, but others are thought to exist in the Persian Gulf and Israel. So these companies are setting up contract front companies to sell our weapons to other countries.
Yeah.
Or at least sell some weapons.
Yeah.
They're selling weapons. We're sending them weapons. They're selling those weapons to other countries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right under our fucking noses. And the
Yeah.
CIA knows about it.
Right.
But we still continue to send this fucking money to them.
Yeah.
But we're concerned about the leak of the Pentagon numbers and the
Right.
inflated numbers and stuff. But right under our goddamn noses, they're taking our money. They're skimming our money. It's just disappeared. $400 million just vanishes out of thin air. Who knows where the fuck it went? And they're setting up companies to sell our freaking weapons.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened in the Middle East, in Afghanistan, when we sent weapons to fight the Russians that time.
Right.
They turned around and sold them all over across the black market, and we had to spend millions of dollars to try to find those weapons and buy them back from our enemies, so they want to get used on us. So the same goddamn thing is happening here.
Yeah.
Only it is it's with the good guys. It's the Ukrainians,
Right,
so
the
good
good
guys.
guys.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a kind of a holy war of sorts between.
Oh yeah, because Russia's the great evil, right?
Yes.
It has to be beat at all cost.
Yeah. So I mean, should we keep focusing on this leak shit
No.
from Ukraine, or should we be focusing more on this report by Seymour Hersh?
But again, I mean, we've been talking about this since we've been in there. I mean, everybody is making bank on this except for us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the American people are funding this great battle for freedom, and Zelensky is making bank. Russia's making bank.
Our politicians, I guarantee you, are fucking making bank off of this.
Fuck yeah! Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah,
right?
The CIA is making bank off
they're
of this.
creating. I would say they're at least creating kind of instability in the area, but I doubt that. Putin and Zelensky are probably doing shots on the side.
I don't know. Ukraine is the next Middle East. It's just going to be a shithole in the next 3 or 4 years. I mean,
but nobody cares, and that's the thing. Nobody cares that the numbers are inflated, right, or not inflated.
I think we did an episode literally titled "War is a Racket."
Yeah,
and we talked about all this.
It's because
just a
we
fucking racket.
we called it from the beginning that people are just making money on this. The defense contractors, Poland, Turkey, fucking South Korea. I mean, and
but it's right under our damn noses, right out in the open. It's not that hidden of a secret.
No, but again, the media is portraying this as the battle for freedom in Ukraine, and so everybody's on board. Zelensky's accepting Oscars because he's the great freedom fighter.
Well, I mean, again, you got to realize who profits off of this. Like the corporation, our own corporations profit off this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it goes back freaking to every fucking year, every fucking war.
Yeah.
The war in the Middle East, who profited off of that? The Bush family did off the oil trade, obviously. Look at the Iran-Contra affair. They were selling weapons, trading weapons. Who was profiting? The CIA was fucking in charge of that shit. Look at back at World War II. The Bush family, the Rockefeller family, they were all sanctions put on them because they were selling oil and oil freaking conditioner to the Germans, perpetuating this war. The war would have ended if it wasn't for Rockefeller.
And the fucked up thing about this is all the signs were there because Hunter was in the fucking country years before.
And we're going to get into that.
I know
shit.
we are. I know.
There's definitely the tie.
But just making the deals and now Biden's carrying them out. Be like, hey, we'll make you lots of money. Hold on, hold on.
But that's been the Biden way. It's Hunter goes in, brokers the deals.
Yep.
Biden carries it out from his office, his political clout. That's just how their family has worked out, and their whole family makes bank. It's like they are trying to be the next Bushes or trying to be. I mean, there are they're making bank, but I don't think they're to like Kennedy status or Bush or Rockefeller status to where it's just like we run the world and we make money off the wars. That's what they're trying. They're kind of dumbasses though. Which
they are.
I guess GW was dumbass, a coke snorting dumbass.
He was,
too.
but at least he seemed to be a reformed dumbass, right?
Exactly.
But the thing is, like, if Biden never became president, nobody would have even seen any of this.
No. We probably wouldn't have went to war, though, if Trump became president. Because Trump was...
Oh, that's true. Yeah. No, we probably would not have gone to war. But, I mean, just imagine the spotlight wasn't even on the Biden family. And they've been doing this at least for the last 10 years.
At least, yeah.
So,
probably longer than that.
And he's been in fucking Congress for 47 years. So, yeah, it's probably way before that.
But it makes you wonder how many of the rest of them are doing the same kind of shit, though.
All of them.
Because we see, like... What was
Pelosi was doing?
Pelosi was over in freaking Taiwan, and
McConnell, I'm sure, was.
Pelosi also has her husband's the traitor that like benefits from all her freaking laws she passes. McConnell.
Feinstein.
Who is the freaking judge that they're like all up in arms right now because he was like taking funds and living some lavish lifestyle?
I haven't seen him, but
who's the Supreme Court the black Supreme Court justice, Republican type?
Clarence Thomas.
Yeah, he's like on the chopping block right now for the same kind of shit.
Yeah.
So it's just like these are the people we know about, but they feel like they're the Kennedys, the untouchables, or the Bushes, the untouchables, where it's just like, I mean, maybe they are that status. I don't know. I can't see this dumb Delaware family being that status where it's just like you can't touch Hunter Biden.
Right.
I just don't see it.
No, and that's the thing. The only reason why nobody will touch them is because they're all doing it, and that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, the CIA is just pissed off that they're not making the profit off. They're probably they probably actually went to Zelensky not to call him out on his laundering, but for not giving him a big. You're taking more of a cut than you're supposed to be giving us. That's what that was all about. Yeah, they're all in on it. Yes. Otherwise, heads would roll. Somebody would be arrested.
Yeah.
And the only people talking are the crazies like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but probably because she's not getting a cut of the pie. If she was getting a slice of the pie, she wouldn't give a shit either.
Right.
It is about time for a break. I want to get into the Hunter Biden Ireland trip, and the ties pretty good together. You did a good transition, but we're going to take a break and kill your good transition.
I appreciate that.
So we're going to get into break. We're going to take 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to come back and talk about Hunter Biden's trip to Ireland, and obviously we're going to get into a lot of his shady business dealings overseas, and it'll tie into a lot of the stuff we're talking about too.
So note, they went to Ireland. War is going to break out over in Ireland now.
Something's going to happen in Ireland. Absolutely. So we're going to take 3 or 4 minutes, like I said, and then we'll be right back to continue on this shit show that we found ourselves in. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have you ever thought that maybe voting, maybe all this politics constantly surrounding you is not the way to achieve freedom in your life? Hi, I'm Remso W. Martinez, and I ask myself the same question. That's why I'm on a journey to find true freedom in my lifetime. From learning about financial independence, to new ways to develop rugged individualism, to amazing guests living strange, crazy, amazing lifestyles that you've only thought might be real, but actually are. Go ahead and check out my new show, On the Run with Remso W. Martinez at the We Are Libertarians Network. You can find On the Run with Remso W. Martinez on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. You know how the internet works. Come on down and let's discover how to achieve real freedom in your life together.
Hey everybody, I just want to take this time to give a big shout out to the very first sponsor of the Break the Bell podcast. That is Goulash Media. They can be found at goulashmedia.net. Goulash Media specializes in graphic design, web design, audio recordings, video work, wedding videos, music videos, even political campaign videos. Goulash Media caters to the little guy with the big vision. You can check them out at goulashmedia.net. That's GOULASH media.net.
we're back. Sorry, I left you all on an article. And I forgot, and I came back on the article. I forgot to come back on our faces. It was just an article. Apparently, we weren't done with it. So we're talking about them just doing this blatant shit right under our noses.
Yeah,
like this money laundering right under our noses.
We talk about a lot of like different shit on the show, and a lot of times it's like, ha 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 ha. That really pisses me off.
It does, right?
Yeah, it does.
Like, we're paying for this war that we didn't want to pay for in the first place. We said this war was bullshit in the first place.
Yes.
But we got to be the saviors of the world and fund this guy who's probably got Nazis in his military ranks. And we're just like, and we're like, there's probably money laundering going on. Well, apparently some of that money laundering includes funding the side that you're supposedly fighting against.
Right. Putin has to be stopped. But you know what? He's got cut rate diesel.
But don't worry, we caught the 12-year-old bastard from leaking files on Discord.
Yeah.
We're good.
Right.
America is saved. The war can continue on because these files no longer get out.
Yeah.
Now, if shit like that had been leaked by this guy, I'd be Marjorie Taylor Greene saying this kid's a hero.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He should be.
Yeah.
He's a martyr.
But then the question, but again, it goes back to it wasn't intentional.
Well, even if it was just to get laid.
Yeah.
If that was
Which is what it appears to be.
But it came out like information had got out that was like, well, this is blatant money laundering. FTX is involved.
Yeah,
and
right.
Zelensky is paying
everything we know.
Zelensky is paying the DNC to, all the crazy shit that's spiraling. If something like that were to accidentally leak because this guy is trying to get laid, I would still call him a martyr.
I'd buy him a fucking hooker.
Oh yeah, I would too. Buy him a real woman. Keith is here. Keith, I don't know if I've ever seen you in our comments. Keith says, good luck getting someone to make a difference, too. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Keith, it's good to have you on the show. Anyways, all this supposed smoke and screen, which, as Marjorie Taylor Greene called it, a flimsy, transparent curtain that's clearly been ripped back. You don't have to, it's just there. It's all happening. It's happening right in front of you.
We're all watching it.
It's not like the Iraq War where they have to dupe us anymore.
Right.
It's just like, no, we're doing this stupid shit, and you're going to pay for it because of a war. And we're like, oh, a war. Yeah, but it's against Putin, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he must be stopped.
Yeah, at least Iraq, at least GW. It was just like we gotta make up a really believable story for them.
Because they hate our freedom.
Because they hate our freedom, and they got the WMDs.
Right.
They got all them WMDs, and Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda are in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And they hate our freedom, and we're like, oh, they blew up our towers. They hate our
get
freedom.
Let's go get them.
This time, no towers blown up, no WMDs.
Yeah.
No,
we put Nazis there.
Yeah, we put the Nazis over there. No, hating freedom. Well, I guess, borderline Putin hating our freedoms.
Yeah,
but
okay. Yeah.
Putin looks at us, he's like, you guys aren't free.
Yeah, he's like, just look what happened during the pandemic.
Yeah, you fucking think you're free? Ha ha.
But obviously, Biden's not as creative as Bush.
No, but again, like I was getting to, they don't have to be, because
I know.
We've been collectively duped so much that we're just like, oh, all right, yeah, we got to fight this thing.
Yeah,
look at the fucking
Putin.
pandemic.
Right.
Look at the pandemic.
Right.
How much they could just tell us and just be like, well, you got to do this because of safety. Right. And we're like, oh, that doesn't make sense, but you must be right.
Right.
I mean, they don't have to try anymore. They don't have. They can just do it right in front of us and be like, we're not doing this. And we're like, oh, he's not doing it. Yeah, you're right. I must have seen something. My eyes must deceive me, because
they would possibly lie to us.
No, not intentionally lie to us. I mean, if they did, it was only for national security reasons.
Right. Yeah, it's for our own good.
So you had brought up the connection with Hunter Biden. So I want to switch courses, but not totally switch courses. All right, coming back. We're trying to come back. Let me get Bill back in here. So the FBI did not like us talking about this, says Derek Ambrose.
I agree, Derek.
No, not at all. Derek also says, I can't bear a drunk on vodka and shoot off AKs, not without the ATF showing up to take away my cocaine bear. Keith is still here. He says CIA are on top of it. It's absolutely true. I mean, I knew as soon as I brought up COVID stuff, I was like, I almost said YouTube's going to kick us off, and just not even a minute later, we
Got kicked off.
We're just gone. But we seem to be back as long as I can get Bill back in here. Hang on just a sec. Bill, you're
All
here.
right, we're back.
And you're echoing.
Now
you're not.
Okay.
All right. So,
yeah,
we can't miss the Hunter Biden stuff. So
no, that's the juicy part.
Come on, let us stream for a few minutes longer, guys. To all my CIA buddies out there listening. So, in other news, also related, I'm sure.
Yes.
As mentioned in the pre-show, Hunter Biden took a vacation with Joe Biden to
dear old dad
to Ireland.
Yeah,
to Ireland
and
this
their
week.
Aunt Val.
Yeah, so it was Joe's sister. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is from the New York Post. It says Hunter Biden tags along with Dad and Aunt Valerie on trip to the UK and Ireland. I got to pull this one up. I got to redo everything. Hunter Biden tags along with Dad, Aunt Valerie on trip to United Kingdom and Ireland. It says first son. God damn it! What is going on? Keep losing connection. First son Hunter Biden tagged alongside with his dad Tuesday on a multi-day trip to Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. I didn't know they were still two separate entities.
Oh yes, yeah.
Even as the first son is battling both congressional and criminal investigations into his overseas business dealings. Yeah, I would think the last thing you'd want to do is go on an overseas trip with Hunter Biden as he's being investigated for his overseas trips. The 53-year-old will join President Biden in Belfast on Wednesday to commemorate the 25th anniversary of Good Friday Agreement that largely ended the decades-long violent conflict between Catholics and Protestants known as the Troubles. A White House spokesperson told the Post that Hunter and the president's sister, Valerie Biden Owens, who is also on the trip, will cover all additional personal expenses that incur. So don't worry, we're not fronting this. They'll cover their expenses.
Oh, sure,
no problem. It's fine.
That makes sense because, they would never want us to pay for more than we need to.
Historically, family members of presidents and first ladies have frequently joined them during international travel, the spokesperson said. Current practices are consistent with those used by prior administrations. Before departing the White House, Biden told reporters he was bringing along two of my family members who hadn't been there before, referring to his son and sister. I like how he just conveniently leaves out the fact.
Two family members.
Because he didn't want the barrage of questions that would follow. What's Biden or Hunter Biden going there for? It sounds suspicious to me.
But he had to kind of really get in with his handlers and be like, look, guys, I don't care. I'm taking my son. There's nothing you can say about it, right?
Is this a good idea, Joe?
And then he gets up there and he's like, so I'm taking two family members to Ireland.
Pussy. Actually, they probably didn't know how he would answer the question, so they're like, do not say his name.
Yeah.
Before departing the White House, I read that. After stopping in Northern Ireland, the 80-year-old president will travel to Dublin, County Louth, and County Mayo. The Bidens will remain in Ireland through Friday. Hunter was also seen Monday with his dad on the South Lawn during the White House's annual Easter egg roll after spending the holiday weekend with his dad at the presidential retreat camp at Camp David in Maryland. What is happening? Let me text my kids and kick them off the freaking internet. Get off the Wi-Fi, please.
Does Biden have grandkids?
Yeah. Well, he's got the freaking stripper kid of Hunter's.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm sure he has grandkids. I know he has grand. The scandal-plagued first son announced shortly after 2020 election that the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware was investigating his finances for potential fraud, a probe that could uncover further offenses such as money laundering, lying about drug use on a federal form to purchase a handgun, and illegal foreign lobbying. The Republican-led House Oversight Committee are also investigating Hunter and his uncle, James Biden, for overseas consulting work during Joe Biden's days as vice president in the Obama administration. Committee Chairman James Comer suggested last week that the local prosecutors may also file criminal charges against Biden and his son over the matter. Until at least early 2021, Hunter held a 10% stake at BHR Partners, a Chinese state-backed investment fund, which was launched in 2013. Okay, we know all the shit. We know all the stuff that he did. The big news, though, is he took Hunter to Ireland.
Yes.
And the big question is, why did he take Hunter to Ireland? A part of me thinks it could be like this might be the last chance for him to reconnect with Daddy, because Daddy's about dead. He's about fucking dead, and this is the last time to...
Yeah.
Maybe he was the last choice to go.
Well, I mean,
They're
maybe...
like, well, what about my daughter? And she's like... do we get separate showers? He's like, nope. And she's like, not going. And so he's like, Hunter. And he's like, do we get separate showers? He's like, nope. He's like, yeah, okay.
Maybe he didn't know which family members were going. Maybe they're like, you can take 2 family members. We'll surprise you.
Yeah. And he's like, oh,
Hunter?
Hunter, is that
Really?
you?
I thought you were dead.
No, that was your other son. I have 2 sons? I thought he died. So this was a fun part, just a fun part that's unrelated. Did you hear about this part of the trip when a kid asked him a question and like he had no idea how to answer it because it was a super stumping question, like a mind-blowing stump of a question.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
And Hunter had to elaborate. So good thing it's a good thing he took Hunter because this child would have stumped the shit out of him.
Okay.
So the question in question was, what's the top step to success? That's the one that got him.
Okay. Well, that makes sense because he seems to always fall before he gets there.
He's like, what's the top what? And the child responds, step to success. And Biden says, what's the top step to success? And the child says, yes. And Biden responds, oh, well, making sure that we don't all have COVID. Wait, why, what are we talking about here? This is the quote. This is not me elaborating. This is what was said.
Yeah.
The kid's like, what's the secret to success? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's make sure we don't get COVID and jobs in America. And, his talking. Right. He's trying to start. He's like, brain is reverting back to talking points.
Right, yeah.
And then he's like, wait, what are we, where am I?
Yeah, this isn't a town hall meeting?
And Hunter goes on to say, if you can, what's the key to success? Oh, what's the key to success? What I found is the key to success is, and I'm not sure I'm the best guy to explain. These guys can tell you the key to success is whenever you disagree with someone, it's okay to question their judgment, whether they're right or wrong, but it's never okay to question their motive. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It is always okay to question. You should
Yes.
always question a person's motive. Like, why is Hunter Biden in Ireland? I'm
Yes.
questioning his motive.
What the hell were you thinking?
So this goes on to say, if you question their motive, so Biden goes on to say, if you question their motive, then you never get to be able to agree.
And I imagine this kid just sitting here like,
For example, if you say to someone, the reason why you don't agree with me is because you are stupid, you are bad, you just don't like the people I like. Instead of saying, I just didn't, just tell you why I disagree with you because of the following things. Because once you question somebody's motive, why they're doing something, because you don't know. In fact, what happens after that, you can never get an agreement, get together. I learned the lesson a long time. I say that to all the embassy folks, too. I learned that a long time ago. There was a guy named Jesse Helms in South Carolina. From North Carolina, South Carolina. Hunter Biden corrects him again, says North. North Carolina. This goes, holy shit, this goes on forever.
Meanwhile, this kid's hanging himself from a plane because he didn't want to ask the fucking question.
He's like, holy shit, I want to kill myself. He said, what would you say, Joe, if I told you they adopted that blah, blah, blah. He goes on and on and on. He says, that's a long answer to a real quick question. He just politicked the shit out of that kid.
No shit. That kid is never going to ask anybody ever a question. Meanwhile, he walks in and he jumps on his press person. You need to field these questions better. That kid stumped me. I was not expecting that.
I thought we fielded all the questions and I only answered. Like, why are we taking questions from these really smart people?
Yeah, right. I was expecting him to ask me like what my favorite color was.
What my favorite flavor of ice cream is, because it's chocolate. Did it say how old the kid was even?
Before or after the question?
Just says a child's question. But Hunter had to, first of all, he couldn't understand the fucking question. Like, what's the key to success?
Yeah.
I mean, he worded it weird, the top step to success. But, like, he couldn't even, like...
Yeah. Well, the kid's Irish, right? So
I mean, that's probably true, too. It'd be hard to understand him, that Irish accent. So all that.
Yes.
So they're in Ireland. And that, first of all, that's they're probably only putting shit like that, so we're like, wow, what this dumbass, this stupid trip to Ireland. So we're not asking the question, like, what the motive is behind this trip to Ireland.
And this is why SNL is no longer relevant, because that could be a skit right there. But we'll never see that.
Yeah, really. It's like, man, they need to get back on real comedy. They did take the effort to stop at some plaque that commemorates Bo there, because... Apparently back the year that Bo died, he was supposed to take a trip to Ireland with his father, but Joe ended up having to go alone because, unfortunately, he's dead.
Right.
So they did something. He, like, took the first dig of some, like, hospice center, and then they named it after Bo, I think, in Ireland, which is it's kind of weird.
That is weird.
So he had to stop there. And so him and Hunter made this trip to this plaque. And it kind of makes me think that they're trying to be, like, the Kennedys.
Right.
Like, you had the son that was supposed to be the president.
Right.
Like, the political guy.
Yeah.
Like, he was made for politics, and he met an untimely death, and then they had to substitute Jack, who was kind of a... I mean, he was a war hero too, but he was like having medical issues. He was kind of a playboy type. He just wasn't that political figurehead.
Right.
But is that what's happening here? It's just like, well, Bo was supposed to be my next in succession, but here I'm left with Hunter Biden, who is going to be the next Jack Kennedy, obviously.
Yeah,
obviously, that's what we got going here. So, I mean, they focus on that trivial shit is what I'm pointing out.
Well, because they want to make it that... Nobody's going to question you if you're honoring your dead son.
And you're being a dumbass in front of a kid.
Right.
I mean, they'll ask the obvious questions, is Joe Biden just a dumbass? And the obvious answer is yes, obviously. Derek asks how many lines of Coke Hunter did off the plaque. All of the lines of Coke.
This was for you, Bo.
So why are we actually concerned about this trip to... Why should we be concerned about this trip to Ireland?
Because... Again, there's no distancing from Hunter.
Well, there seems to be a trend that happens when Hunter and Joe go on trips overseas.
Deals are made.
Deals get made
Business gets
instantly.
Yeah.
Like back in 2013, Joe takes a trip to Beijing with Hunter Biden.
Right.
A week or so later, that BHR freaking partners group, that financial group that was
that Hunter
connected,
owned 10% of.
They formed. They became a company like a week after Joe and Hunter go there. And Hunter gets 10% of that, and then Joe gets his cut. The big guy gets his cut out of that.
Right.
Weeks later, just right after, like, just coincidentally makes this trip to Beijing, and then all of a sudden this company sparks up, and people get rich, including the Bidens get rich. No connection there, obviously.
Right. Obviously.
Fast forward a year or so, 2014. Hunter joins Burisma in Ukraine, which is a gas firm. 3 days after he joins Burisma, Joe Biden takes a trip to Ukraine to promote fracking in Ukraine. And then they end up pushing this fracking stuff through help of the U.S. And fracking, like, takes off. And do you know who one of the only companies to have licensing for fracking in that country is?
The Beijing company.
Burisma.
Oh, Burisma.
Burisma, with that Hunter's now sitting on the board of. So Hunter joins the board. Joe goes over there and says, start fracking. They start fracking. The only ones that really can frack is Burisma. They end up ramping up fracking or oil production by like 13 times what they were before. They end up making like $400 million extra in revenue because of fracking. And Hunter just happens to be sitting on the board of the one company that has rights to fracking in that country. Coincidence?
I wouldn't say not.
No, not so much. So again, you go on a trip with your son or ahead of your son or behind your son. Something happens coincidentally where Biden's happen to get rich off of that. But it's just, it's just a freaking
family trip,
like a diplomatic trip.
Yeah.
Well, back then it was like a diplomatic trip, like discussing like energy, how to boost energy costs, or like in Ukraine, or I don't even know what his trip to Beijing was about. But then it's also coming out that, well, obviously Biden knew nothing about his business dealings.
Of course.
So nobody's denying that Hunter Biden, not even Joe Biden's denying that Hunter Biden's a scumbag. They won't put him in jail, but he is denying that he knew anything fucking about it.
Right. Even though he also, the big guy got his cut.
He got his cut. Maybe he didn't know where he was getting the cut. Maybe he thought
It's
that was
possible.
Hunter's rent.
Right?
I mean, remember the rent that Hunter was paying to
what was
rent?
It 300? What 35? How much was it?
It was tens of thousands of dollars that he was paying to,
like $35,000 a month,
something like that.
Yeah.
And just for upkeep on this house, he had to pay for it. It's just like, no, that's the 10% to the big guy. But again, maybe Joe didn't know, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, he just happens to be in the right place, the right time. Where business dealings start going up, your money's he all of a sudden it's just like, they just all of a sudden
they're at the plaque
money
for Bo, with the hospice, and be like, hey, Dad, let me introduce you here to Seamus. He's looking at doing a startup here, and
So wherever Hunter goes with Joe, the Bidens make money. The Bidens end up richer. Just coincidentally, has nothing to do with anything. Just coincidentally, they travel to these foreign lands and then end up having these big investments.
And Joe Biden's brother, who is the other kind of business guy.
was it Jack? Was it Jack?
No,
I don't remember his name.
I don't remember. Anyways, he's not able to make it, but his clean sister Val.
Well, yeah, she has nothing to do with this at all.
She decides to go this time.
This family is scum. It's
the whole
fucking
family.
scum.
The whole fucking family is in on it.
This is
Bo's probably not even really dead.
To say you had nothing to do with this guy that has no real business experience just walks in and is like making $1 million off this company, or he's making like $30 million off. You're saying you had nothing to do with this. This is like, I remember saying Will Smith, and I like to bash on Will Smith because he is a perfect example of somebody that thinks he's oppressed, who is very much not oppressed.
Right.
He went on, his daughter, remember when she did her music thing? She did the Whip My Hair Back and Forth song.
Oh, yeah.
Very first live performance. I mean, you've known people that have tried in the music world, right?
Right.
Like friends that are just like, I'm going to be a musician, and they might make it like to some clubs. They might even make it on like a small time label. They don't. I mean, they work their asses off. They might make some.
Right.
Very first fucking live performance Willow Smith did was on Ellen DeGeneres, and Will Smith has the balls to say she did this on her own without me.
Right. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit, because she wouldn't be on Ellen DeGeneres if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden would not be on the board of Burisma if it wasn't for Joe Biden.
Right.
Even if he didn't have anything to do with it, they wanted his clout.
Yes.
That's why they gave Hunter. But
Hunter is a fucking cokehead. The only thing he has to offer is access to his dad.
He's worse than a coke. He's a crackhead. He's worse than a cokehead.
Yeah. The only thing he has to offer is access to the big guy. That's it. That's all he's got.
That is like literally on his resume.
And maybe his artwork.
Joe Biden's son. That is his resume.
Yeah.
And they're like, your previous job experience, Joe Biden's son.
Yeah.
Do you got any references? Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I spent the last 50 years working as Joe Biden's son. And they're like, you're hired, $1 million right there. I mean, it's money. It's money in the bank for them. It's money. Obviously, it was money in the bank for Burisma.
Look what we did for Burisma. Yeah, exactly. Do you want this kind of success? Because we can make it happen.
What did we do for China? I want to know. But I'm sure that's a close secret. Now, I did hear that China is kind of, because Biden's kind of pushing against China right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you probably don't want to do that, because there was like this Chinese American bank, like American Chinese bank, that released a bunch of documents to the Republican Congress or whatever that were looking into Biden. And it's kind of like, do you want to play this fucking game? Because we've got the dirt on you, and we can just hit the button. We can hit the default, like the explode button, and we can tank you right now. And I don't know. I feel like Biden's probably going to pull back from China here pretty quick.
Probably.
Especially if they keep pushing that kind of lines.
Yeah.
You know, these people, they don't just do things to get rich. Like,
right.
They do things for power too.
Yes.
For control. Especially like the Chinese government. It's all about it's about control. So
yeah.
I don't know. Why are we bringing this up? I mean, this is obviously just a freaking an innocent trip back to your roots,
obviously.
back to your homeland of Ireland. That's what this is.
Which case the Bidens traditionally get rich.
Apparently, back in like 2011, Hunter Biden, his firm, sought Irish government investments back in 2011. So he may have not made it to Ireland, but he has a history with trying to get rich from Ireland. So maybe there's a good chance this is him going back and trying to finish the job.
Yeah.
So when it comes out down the road that Hunter Biden's sitting on some Irish board in like a month from now, in like a week from now,
right. Yeah,
we'll know why. We'll know what this was all about. This is from Fox News, so obviously it's against Biden. But it says Biden's embattled son was invited to accompany his dad and aunt to Ireland this week, despite continued scrutiny over the Biden's family, foreign business dealings, and dual investigations. In 2011, Hunter's partners at his now defunct investment firm, Rosemont Seneca Partners, discussed making contacts to expand their energy investments in various state-owned investments funds, including in China, Ireland, Oman, and Qatar, according to emails reviewed by Fox News Digital. On March 8, 2011, Eric Sherwin, the firm's former president, sent Hunter and then CEO Devin Archer an email containing the Sovereign Wealth Fund Institute's current list of top sovereign wealth funds, which are state-owned and their rankings at the time. Let's discuss today what else we can be doing to connect with these groups. So it's all these like state-owned investment, like wealth funds.
Right.
So he sends up this email of these lists, and Ireland is on this list. He says, let's discuss what we can be doing to connect with these groups. Archer responded, adding that Rosemont Seneca was already working with several funds on the list, including 2 in China. It says China Social Security following up with Jonathan Lee to see if there's viability. Archer wrote to Sherwin and Hunter referring to National Social Security Fund in China, which had over $146 billion in assets at the time, according to the SWFI list, and Hunter's Chinese business partner, who Biden briefly met in China more than 2 years later. In December of 2013, Vice President Biden traveled to Beijing to schedule a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Hunter expressed interest in joining his father on the trip and ended up going, where he admitted to The New Yorker that he introduced his father to Li, who ran the Chinese private equity fund Bohai Capital. According to the report, Hunter arranged for a brief handshake in the lobby of the hotel where the U.S. delegation was staying, and then Hunter met up with Lee privately. And then again, like 2 weeks later, this group was founded, and Hunter became a rich man. It says the SWFI list said CIC had over $332 billion in assets. That is another Chinese fund that they were in on. Another sovereign wealth fund mentioned on the list was the National Pension Reserve Fund in Ireland, which had $33 billion in assets at the time. The NPRF was a public pension fund that later became the Ireland Strategic Investment Fund in 2014. Archer suggested that someone from Rosemont Seneca reach out to Dan Rooney, the then U.S. ambassador to Ireland, who was appointed by Obama.
Steelers.
What?
And the owner of the Steelers.
Oh, really?
Yep.
He was appointed by Obama in 2009 in order to gain connections to the Irish government. Ideas we could follow up on. Ireland asked for intro through Rooney. And he says he suggested to Devin and Hunter that an informal meeting with Rooney could be arranged during St. Patrick's Day festivities in D.C. the following week. See how they're covering it up with like, oh, they're just in town for the St. Patrick's Day. Kind of like what we're seeing here. Oh, they're just in town because of this.
Bose plaque.
Well, Bose plaque, and then there was like the end of the war in Ireland, the hostilities between Ireland, Northern and Southern Ireland. So he already has somewhat connections. These are state-funded pensions.
Yeah.
What what do they gain out? Like, I don't know, like, rich man's game.
Right. I mean, it's almost like they're offering some kind of
they got to be offering something to these people,
some
like,
kind of investment of these funds, so that they can like maybe try to make them increase.
Do they like? So what it would sound to me is like they take some of the money from these pensions or whatever, fund it around, probably make money off of it, which he would probably fucking lose a lot of that money, being Hunter Biden,
right? And
then piss off a lot of like the people in those countries.
But if
maybe that's why this company's defunct now.
Yeah, right. Rose Seneca. So he goes to other countries and he starts up companies similar to it, and gets some fun, gets Biden behind, and they're like, oh, well, if the big guy's in, we can't lose.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like touching gold every time Joe Biden. I mean, he's just like some innocent guy from Delaware. So I'm like every man's man in Delaware. He gets up and speaks, and people are like, yeah, that makes sense. Throw money at it. Well, we can do that. That's like, I mean, money.
Right. Yeah.
It's all a fucking money laundering scheme.
It is.
It's what it is. And again, like I said, this time, this Ireland trip, I guarantee there's something there. They are doing something business-wise there. This time, they're doing it right in front of our fucking faces and saying, no, we're not. Just like we were talking about with Ukraine. It's like right under our noses. It's like Hunter's there. We all know what we know about Hunter. It's the flimsy, transparent curtain.
Yes.
Again, it's like we know it, and they're like, nah, we're just going to go see... we just like Ireland. We just have roots in Ireland. That's all this is, guys. You don't see the thing going on here.
Because the evidence shows whenever Joe and Hunter go someplace, shit gets made, money gets made, they get rich.
They get rich.
It doesn't matter if it's China, Ukraine, Ireland, Ghana. It's going to happen.
I think, I don't know. He's this dumbass international. He thinks he's this international connections maker, but he's just got his dad on his side, and that's where the money comes from. And but that's all he needs. He doesn't even fucking care. He knows that's all he's worth because that's what he presents himself as. Just like, I got the connection, the big guy right there, guys. You want to talk to the big guy? You come through me. It's like, well, why don't we just you come through me?
I'm the only way,
and you will get to the big guy if you provide me lots of crack cocaine.
And that's the thing. It's like Hunter can do all the crack and hookers he wants, and he's going to be protected.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what he does.
Right.
Yeah,
he's like the untouchable, the new generation of untouchable.
Sent you that article about how the FBI's being sued because they had that gun that Hunter had gotten illegally, and then Secret Service went into the gun shop and took all the paperwork that showed
that he had bought the gun, that it was registered to his name. Yes. Yeah, you can't touch these guys.
No.
Now, we gotta start wrapping this up, but before we do, we ended the Ukraine part with kind of talks about like arms exporting, like trafficking of weapons and shit. So I guess we got to tie it back together because I had heard a lot of stuff about Hunter Biden, but there is this allegation that one of the biggest things. Let me see if I can find the article. One of the things that nobody really talks about is apparently one of the Chinese counterparts in his Chinese company is being investigated for arms trafficking, illegal arms trafficking.
Really?
And it makes like Hunter has to have something in on that. They have to have a deal in on that. Is this this was just a post. I'm not going to read too deeply into it because it doesn't say a whole lot. It's just kind of thrown out there. It says, real clear investigations. Paul Sperry found in the Justice Department documents that Hunter Biden's Chinese partner, Xi Ping Patrick Ho, not only doled out international bribes, but also trafficked in arms, including grenade launchers and anti-tank missiles. So that's out there. Have you heard anything about that?
No, this is the first.
Do you think Hunter has anything to do with that?
Probably, yes. He's probably is a fucking arms dealer.
Why not add that to the fucking list? Well, why will nothing come out of like this stuff, or why will nothing come out of like the money laundering allegations from Ukraine or the potential weapons exporting in Ukraine? Why? Because the people that are sending them to them are profiting from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said in the beginning, it's like, of course Hunter Biden has connections with this weapons dealing. He probably also has connections with the Ukraine weapons dealings, as well as all the other illegal arms dealings. The people that are sending them money know that they're selling them off because they're getting money off of the top. That's just how this fucking racket works.
Absolutely.
They profit directly from it. Again, it's happened in every freaking war. They profit from it. We pay for it. We front the bill. They're like, oh, this big bag of war. And then people are like, oh, did you know they're selling off our weapons? We're like, oh, shit, I didn't know that. We should do something about that while they're like padding their pockets with
But look, not only are we sending them arms, right? Poland, South Korea are sending them arms that they're going to sell.
Well, did you see one of the countries that they're selling it back to was Poland?
Right. Well, yeah, Poland is one of the ones that they're also getting refurbished military from us.
So Poland's selling them arms, making money. We are replenishing Poland's arms. Then Poland is buying the weapons back. From Ukraine. And probably reselling them to somebody else themselves, or selling them back to the CIA. I don't know. Well, remember, I said the CIA had to go back and rebuy from the black market all of the guns that got sold on the black market from Afghanistan in the 80s. So, of course, we're buying that shit back from Poland and from Ukraine and the black market there.
It's just a massive racket, and everybody's getting rich.
Except us. We're not getting rich. I'm not getting rich. I mean,
but egg prices are down.
I don't know. Gas prices are up.
I know.
Shit. I mean, it's fucking great. It's all just this big joke.
It is. And
everybody knows it.
Yeah.
But we're told, no, it's not happening. Don't look over there. And so many people are buying it. I don't know how many people I saw defending Ukraine today on Twitter because somebody had come out and was just like kind of comparing this to this leak, Pentagon leaker, to somebody else, and they're like, oh, this guy's pro-Putin and you're pro-Putin and you're anti-Ukraine, and it's just like, you can be anti-Ukraine and anti-Putin at the same time.
Absolutely.
Newsflash. You don't have to support Ukraine and still you can not be supporters of Russia at the same time. Just, I don't support my money being spent on a fucking racket, which is, I mean, it's just a global freaking mafia.
Yeah.
Dumbass mafia. They're not even smart mafia anymore because they don't have to be smart.
Exactly, because
we have
nobody
Hunter Biden is like a freaking strong man of the mafia. You know,
he's fucking Corky Romano.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Except he did the coke on purpose.
Right.
You know, things have gone south in the world when the global mafia is like kind of one of the enforcers is Hunter Biden.
Yeah, right.
And Joe Biden. And the Biden family, as dumb as they all are, can somehow be like I want to say they're like top players by any stretch, but they're players.
Yeah.
In this freaking grand freaking scheme chessboard thing.
And again, like you said, when you look at the grand scheme of thing, makes you think anybody who's been in the Senate 30 plus years is involved in something like this.
They all are. Why else would they stay in the Senate?
Well, yeah.
They're not in it to make money like their actual money that they make. I mean, it's a couple hundred, which is a lot to us.
Right.
But living in D.C. and all that shit, I mean, you don't get rich by politics.
No.
Well, by politics, you don't get rich in government. You get rich from all the kickbacks and all the
making deals,
the shady deals, the money laundering, and profiting off of wars, and making laws that support your corporation that supports the wars, that makes money off the wars. So then you get kickbacks, and your family gets kickbacks, and your family's family gets kickbacks off the kickback. It's all it is.
So they're all doing this, and everybody in the country is more concerned about a 12-year-old selling secrets and a trans chick on a beer can. Right?
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that last week. It's like all anybody cares about is the Bud Light can,
right?
Or this 12-year-old gamer nerd that's giving out secrets that aren't really that.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
Oh, did you hear the U.S. is spying on their allies?
Yeah.
Really? No kidding.
Right.
They spy on everybody. Everybody knows the CIA or the U.S. government spies on everybody. It's not a surprise. Oh, did you know the war in Ukraine's not what they say it is? Yeah, I did. But do you know actually that this is going on and you just don't give a fuck?
Right.
Like you just don't want to look at it. The people, they don't want to hear that your government is fucking you over in this Ukraine war because we're doing it to save the Ukrainians.
Right.
We're fighting this holy war against the evil big bad Putin.
Yeah, we want to be able to fly our blue and yellow flags.
Yes. Derek says it's all coke and mirrors. Smoke and mirror. I don't know why I said coke. Yes, indeed. Where does this leave us? How do we get out of here? Do you got a happy note to end this on? To send us off with?
Well, look at it this way. If Biden dies, someone's going to off Hunter pretty quick.
Or maybe Hunter takes up the mantle. Maybe Hunter Biden's our next president.
You know
Did
what?
you ever
if,
think
if
about that?
GW
George
can
Bush.
make it,
Yes.
Hunter can make it.
GW, cokehead GW made it.
Yes.
He cleaned up. He found Jesus. You don't have to find Jesus anymore, especially in the Democrat Party.
Oh, fuck you.
I mean, the Republican Party, you kind of still do. Trump found Jesus, too.
Right.
But on the other side, you don't need to find Jesus.
You're right. Yeah, he can put on his resume arms dealer, fracker, artist. And
yes, definitely artist.
And, president.
I like it. President Hunter Biden.
Yes. It's coming. So we got Michelle Obama.
I mean, they won't even have to remake the freaking poster thing.
That's true.
It's just Biden for president.
Just throw him in there. Yeah. Nobody cares.
So, like, we don't want to spend extra money on new posters.
So we're just going to use the old ones.
So we're using.
Yeah. So next Democratic big star, Michelle Obama, Chelsea Clinton, or Hunter Biden?
I did see that Kamala Harris is becoming more assertive lately.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So she might make an appearance on the stage, or attempt to make an appearance on the stage. So we got that to look forward to.
Hunter's already done coke off of her ass.
Gross. And Chelsea's.
And Chelsea and Michelle. No, Michelle did coke off his ass.
He did coke off Michelle's dick.
Yeah.
I mean, don't want our stream to get kicked off again. On that note,
everybody knows.
On that note, we got to get out of here. That's the happy note to end this on.
And that is a happy note.
That's a happy mental image. Tell us what you think about any of it. The chat, the comment section is always open. We have the forum, the Breaking the Bell forum. If you don't want people to know that you're as crazy as we are, go to the Breaking the Bell forum on Facebook. It's anonymous. Like, you can only, it's like, but you invite yourself in. We only allow certain people. So if you come in, you're like, don't let my mom in, I'll try not to let your mom in because we don't want her to see that you're
crazy.
You're as insane as you are. Otherwise, if you like to make waves in the public sphere, I like to do that on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter at BreakTheBellPod, and you can partake in some of the spicier side of stuff. I need more people to participate with me on Twitter because I feel like I possibly am being shadow banned because what did I post? What was it?
You said something about shootings may be because they're banning smoking.
Yeah. That came because I was really pissed off at a job, and I came outside, and I was just like, man, I would get less pissed off at a job if I could smoke inside while I am doing my job. Then it's just like, you want to have to take that break to regain your freaking self-control. It just made my brain start thinking. It's like, there might be some correlation between this uptick in school shootings, or not school shooting, but like public mass shootings, this uptick in mass shootings, and the banning and outlawing of smoking everywhere. It's like, maybe the old boy just needs a fucking cigarette. Did you ever think about that? And I thought that would make waves, but I didn't.
I know. You sent it to me, and I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm going to watch this because I want to see what happens.
Nothing. I got nothing out of it. Nobody wanted to touch it. So if you like to make waves, follow me on Twitter at BreakTheBellPod. Otherwise, check out all the other shit we do. We have the morning show with me and my brother, Dan Smotz of the System Is Down podcast. It's called the Two Scoops Morning Show. It's typically sometimes on Tuesdays and sometimes Thursdays as well, or sometimes none of those. So it's more of a short form, 20 minutes. We come in and pick the most bizarre stories to bullshit about. The ones that really don't really apply much to your life, but it makes you have a good laugh first thing in the morning and realize how much the world freaking actually does suck. So that's the Two Scoops Morning Show, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, some Tuesdays and Thursdays, whenever we feel like it. Otherwise, again, if you're listening in the future, we do this show live. If you want to join in on the fun and join in the comment section and throw us off the rails quicker than we do,
we appreciate it.
Monday nights, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we record live. We stream to YouTube and Facebook Live, both of those platforms. If there's another platform you want to see us on or would prefer, hit me up because I have room for a third. I was doing it on Twitter, but we got like 0 views, so I just stopped doing that. So if there's a platform you'd prefer that to be live streamed to, hit me up and I'll try to get connected to that. Again, live 7 p.m. next Monday night. We're gonna have another doozy, I'm sure, because it's always fun. Kids baseball season's coming up, so the schedule might bounce around a little bit. So we'll keep you updated if that doesn't end up on a Monday night. We will have it on a different night. So just know we are busy people in the summer times, so that might bounce around.
Yeah, but we do our best.
Derek says, I have never seen you two on a Thursday Two Scoops. It is rare, like I said, supposedly on Thursdays, but
it's like Bigfoot.
If you catch us on Thursdays, you might want to go buy a lottery ticket. We got to get out of here. You got any final thoughts? Any final words of wisdom to impart on our fellow listeners?
Well, again, it's one of those things where this one kind of pissed me off a little bit.
It did,
and,
yes.
It just shows the contempt that our government has for us.
Like right under your faces, right under
right.
the
like,
title.
what are you going to do about it?
Like the title says, right under our fucking noses. It's just right. It's like, what you going to do, bitch? I'm doing this right here. Yeah. I'm doing it. I'm screwing you over. It's just like, it's like your dog that takes a shit and looks you in the eye and is just like, I'm doing this right now.
Yep.
And you're just going to watch me. And you're going to wait for me to do it.
Yeah.
That's your government.
You're right.
That is your government.
Your government is shitting in front of your face.
It is true. Derek says, if the kids are at baseball, they aren't on the Wi-Fi. That is true, but if my kid's at baseball,
so are you.
I'm at baseball as well. So that's where I'll be. Because I tend to have this family and stuff that I gotta.
And they like you.
They
right?
still do most of the time. Yes.
So
now this might be you all might be experiencing the very last episode with Bill as he takes on this adventure of flying lessons. So everybody say farewell and.
Yes. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Right?
What's that phrase? Farewell and something sees. I can't think of it. I don't know. Just farewell.
Okay.
Just goodbye. It's been nice knowing you.
Sure.
At least you went out in style.
Yeah. I will. I'll be out going like, yeah, bitches.
Yes, exactly. Goodbye, Bill. It's been nice knowing you. It's been nice having you on the show.
Yes, it's been fun.
When Bill does meet his inevitable demise of crashing a plane, if anybody out there is takers for being my new co-host, hit me up because there might be an opening.
That's the qualifications.
might be an opening coming up very soon. We got to get out of here. Have a great rest of your week, everything that is left of it, and go hug your kids and do something productive. Don't fly planes. Don't. If you're going to be my co-host, don't fly planes. Have a great rest of your week. We will catch you next time. Goodbye.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, the On the Run podcast, and Goulash Media. If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.